Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's your girl Shamara. It's been a minute since I came on here, but I've been kind of thinking about this for a while now. I had my surgery May 31st, 2016, so it's been a year and almost 2 months since I had it done. And so I wanted to kind of talk about disappointments after a tummy tuck and disappointments in the way of expectations. And so I think as you prepare for the surgery and you talk about it and you discuss all these things with your doctor, at the end of the day, you still have an expectation in your mind as to what this should look like when you are done. And so expectations in your mind might not be reflected in the results that you actually see. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about that because that's one of the things that I struggled with after my surgery. I mean, I thought I did enough research. I felt like I was being realistic, but I realized in retrospect that I might not have been based on what was going on in my body at the time. So stretch marks, that's the first thing. So I knew that I would still have stretch marks. I knew this. I had a lot of stretch marks. So it was not surprising that I still had stretch marks afterwards. I guess, again, it's about reality and your expectations. And so I thought that I would have gotten rid of a lot more stretch marks, and it did not. I still have a shit ton of stretch marks because I just had so many to begin with. I gained 60 pounds with my first kid, so which is not an excuse, but I had a lot of stretch marks. So it's just, reality is that I still have them today, even on a flatter stomach. So just being real about what you'll expect with your stretch marks. The second thing is clothing size. So although I did see this on a lot of different people's, I did see this a couple of times about clothing size and not, expecting to drop a size. I did think that I would fit more comfortably into my clothes once I had the surgery. Not necessarily that I would drop a size. But the reality of it was that I actually could not fit comfortably into my clothes for a while, and even ended up buying very stretchy clothes to wear because I felt so uncomfortable in my clothing because of the swelling. So that's kind of one of those things that you have to make sure that you're not looking at this thing short term. This is really a long-term process. Although it seems like a quick fix, it really is not a quick fix because of the swelling, because of the recovery. There's so much that goes on in between there that for some people, and I know I've seen other people who've had recoveries that were really quick and they look awesome, and they look like they're back to normal or even better than they were before the surgery. But that's not the case with everyone. So it's just being able to be realistic with your expectations and not letting your situation or looking at other people's experiences and basing that as your goalpost for where you should be at any particular time. The other thing is that in the end, you just don't like what the results look like. I mean, that was kind of the case for myself because, again, you have an expectation in your head as to what this would look like, and then when you actually have the surgery, it doesn't line up. And the reason it doesn't line up is because your expectation is not realistic, which is like, you go, duh, right? But when I started the surgery, well, before I had the surgery, I was 178, which isn't that high for me because I'm pretty tall. I feel I'm 5'7", and so I carry my weight pretty well, but 178 was still too much weight for me. And the reason I say that is because once I had the surgery done, I still saw this fullness in my stomach, and I realized in retrospect, or at that time, that it was due to the fact that I still have a lot of visceral fat. So even though they've done the liposuction, they've removed a lot of the fat on the sides, I still have this visceral fat, which is that deep fat that's between your organs, that I needed to get rid of. And so I still have that issue. I'm working on it. So again, I tell you, this is like a process. This is like you're going through it. It's not like instant. you know, not for everyone. I mean, some people were already there before they had the surgery, and then others, you know, we're using the surgery to get us to this point. And so that's kind of where I feel like people need to be realistic about their expectations. Is based on where you are, you might still have work that needs to be done in order for your surgery to be as successful as you want it to be. And so what I've done is during that period, right after the surgery, I found that I didn't really have that much of an appetite. If I did eat, I would get full really fast. So I decided to use that as my jumping point to kind of switch to a vegan diet, which is something I had been kind of debating on for a while. So I used that as an opportunity to actually switch over, because then at that point I wasn't that hungry, so I was able to kind of figure out what I was going to eat, and then you know, not needing to eat a lot of food, using that time to kind of transition into my vegan diet. And so I lost 10 pounds, like maybe the first 2-3 months, I think, after I had the surgery. And so I think that helped in the results that I got, or I'm seeing right now. So I feel like that helped a lot to lose that weight. And right now, so I've just been maintaining that same 10 pounds now. Not sure if I really want to go any lower, because I like being on the thicker side. So I'm kind of pleased with the results that I have right now. I am still working to lose a little bit of body fat, because I still have a little curve at the bottom of my tummy that I wish that I didn't have. And so another reason for that, for me, having this surgery, is I have a hiatal hernia, which is a hernia at the very top of your stomach. So wearing tight clothing or compression on the stomach will irritate my condition. And so when I had the surgery, I could not have my abs muscles tightened as closely as I would have liked. I would have liked the like corset, you know, to get that real hourglass shape. But I couldn't have that done because of my hernia. And so they tightened it up enough that it made a difference. But of course, it's not that washboard look that you would expect, especially at the very bottom of my stomach, where I wish that they had like really just pulled it in. I mean, that would have been awesome. But that didn't happen. So what I'm doing now is I'm just really working on my diet, just continuing to work on my diet to help me lose a little bit of that fat at the very bottom. The other thing that you'll notice, or you may notice, depending on how you carry weight, right? So I carry my weight in my stomach and my hips. And so once they took some of that fat off the flanks, I still got some fat on the sides and the back that I've been working on. So again, realistic about your expectations of what the surgery is going to do, because it's not a fix it all. It helps, and I feel like it's helped me so much, and I am really happy that I did it. But it's getting to this point and realizing that there's still work that you might have to do, not everyone, that you might have to do to really get the results that you want. So I'll just stop talking now and kind of show you my scar. I'm a year and almost 2 months, and I did not do anything on my scar except some oil, Palmer's oil. And so my scar keloid, and I don't know if that's why it keloid, but it keloid. And so what you'll see is that my scar is dark, and I really don't care because no one sees it. The only thing is that it's a little uncomfortable, so I might actually start trying to get scar away, because it's raised on the side, on this right side here, so it's kind of uncomfortable at times. But I guess I was supposed to show you what I look like, right? So this is what I look like. And see the fat I was talking about? So even though, so they took out the fat there, right? So you see how it's nicely cut, but then you have this fat right here. The fat right there. But it's all good. I still love it. I still love my results. And see all the stretch marks that I still have plenty of the tiger skin. but the scar is so low. And then there's some parts where you can't, where it did not keloid, so that like it doesn't even look like there's anything there. And then there's the keloid parts that are dark. And see, there's the little scoop that I wish that I didn't have. A little swoop. But again, that's about expectations of what you think your body should look like, right? So it's not that bad. And other people, when people look at me, they're like, girl, you look good. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but. So it's one of those but kind of things. But, I mean, I really like how I look in clothes. So I am not complaining. I am just putting in the work to improve the things that I don't particularly like. So that's all I got for you. If you have any questions, of course, put them in the box below. Thanks. Bye.